Welcome back to the Building Confidence podcast, where I, your host, Louise as a party, share what I've learned through the years, through the tears, so you don't have to. This is episode 133, and we are going to be talking about things that anger you. This episode is proudly supported by Zadie. Now, this isn't a perfect, polished podcast where I have an answer for you. This is something that I have been discussing with people and try to make my own decisions for years before I even started becoming a life coach. For those of you who don't know, it'll be 5 years in March that I have been actively a life coach for tradeswomen as a business owner, as a service I offer. Before then, I was a trainer and assessor, I was a mechanic, and I was having these conversations with people about things that anger us. Now, I did have a conversation with one person who I know listens to the podcast earlier in the week. I just wanted to clear up that there's nothing wrong about what in our conversation that you decided. I think it just reminded me how important this conversation was to have. And I've been having this particular conversation for years. The right versus wrong, the I'm angry, I can't, what can I do with this anger? What's the next steps? That kind of thing. Other people are doing stuff to hurt me, the community. This stuff has been going on in so many different versions for years, and my experience with it is towards the tradeswomen community and different aspects of the tradeswomen community. And I feel like it was happening before social media, but social media definitely amplified it. Last week, our conversation was about frameworks, about how everyone views the world differently. And I think that's something to listen to before you come and listen to this podcast. So let's say some of the hot topics right now are tradeswomen, whether they are actually tradeswomen or pretending to be tradeswomen, and having an OnlyFans, the sexual type of OnlyFans. Now, there are some people who are pretending to be tradeswomen to hook people in, and then they are on OnlyFans. And there are some people that are really tradeswomen that are qualified and have jobs, and some of them step up into leadership positions and they have OnlyFans. Neither here nor there for me. I'm kind of like, you do you. The girls that are pretending to be tradeswomen as hooks, that annoys me a little bit, but ultimately they're not hurting me. And honestly, there's some Rule 43 where, everything in existence has been made into a porn. And in my mind, they sexualize nuns and shame prostitutes. That's entirely backwards. That is one thing. People in the LGBTQIA plus community being, shamed, that kind of thing is something that is a recent conversation that I had with someone, and I didn't know that had been happening, and someone brought it to my attention because that was something that they were angry about. There's one particular girl going around and advocating that because men can be topless at the worksite, women should be able to be topless at the worksite. This is something that can anger people as well. And honestly, I was a little bit annoyed about it too, but my view is, we live in Australia, so skin cancer, everybody should be wearing a shirt for safety. That is just my flat rule for men and women and myself. And I think that's one thing that we need to remember. We are only truly in charge of our own actions. And when there are things that anger you, sometimes we can just stay being angry, and anger takes a lot of energy, and it usually seeps into other parts of our lives where we're like, okay, we're angry about this. And then, we become angry at our partner, angry at our family, angry during our hobbies. Sometimes it's all we can talk about, which is fair enough. You're passionate about it. But then when does being angry just become a waste of energy? We either need to do something to solve what we're angry about, or do something to dissipate the anger and focus on our own lives. When we stay angry at someone, they don't even know that we're angry at them most of the time. And most of the time, they don't believe they're doing anything wrong, depending on what their framework looks like. One of the coaching concepts is that everyone believes that they are doing good. Their version of good, depending on their frame, is very different to other people's versions of good, right? So, an example that was brought to us in coaching when we were talking about this concept is a kid hitting their brother and going through, like, you kind of go through, okay, why would he do that? Why would he do that? If the brother believes that the other brother is doing something wrong and they're like, no, we need you to stop this because I want you to, not hurt yourself or to not be seen as silly in front of your friends. And then they hit the brother because it's like, we need you to stop this because ultimately we want you to go out into the world and be okay. I totally butchered that example. But like I said, this is a messy topic. I don't have clear instructions or steps. One of the main ones is you need to take action on what is angering you, or you need to learn to let go of that anger. What can taking action be? Policies, so like actual policies, advocating, educating, those kind of things can be steps that we're taking. When we're looking at ourselves and making decisions, if we're going to do something big, something small, whatever it is, a filter that we can run it through is it good for me? Is it good for others? And is it good for the greater good? And, these are really important things to check in on because it can really influence how people perceive us. And obviously we can't control what people think, but if we check in on these things, is it good for me? Is it good for others? And is it good for the greater good? Typically, we won't be actively hurting anyone by going through our going and advocating or speaking, educating, or having these opinions. When we have an opinion that hurts someone, it's really important to check ourselves. And I'm 90% sure that the people who listen to this podcast are the people that, they're perpetrators. Whether their perpetrator is consciously doing it or not, probably needs to check on, is this opinion hurting others? Is this action hurting others? Now, with the tradeswomen community, a lot of it comes down to the reputation of tradeswomen, where a lot of people will meet one tradeswoman and paint a brush of all tradeswomen, which is something that we can't change individually if somebody creates that opinion. But different things can impact that. And whether it's impacting it for good or for bad is to the eyes of the beholder. It's to the eyes of the beholder. But when we stay angry, it's like we are drinking the poison and expecting someone else to die. When we stay angry, we are burning our own energy, our own resources. And if there is something that we can do, if there's a conversation that we can have, education and be done, support for a community that we could be the energy that we're using to be angry can be used to support a community. We are just burning that energy and it's not getting us anywhere. I think that's probably the only certain thing out of this whole podcast is if we are angry, it is energy burnt. We need to decide what we want to do with it, because even with that, let's say for the tradeswomen community, we're angry, we're using energy to burn that angry, whether it is about people advocating for be topless, the OnlyFans side of things, people using being a tradeswoman as a way to get social media fame because their ultimate goal is social media fame, which is another specific one to a conversation I had earlier this week. Some of those things we can do stuff about and some of them we can't. But when we're angry and we're using energy to be angry about that and we actually don't have a plan to do something, then that energy is taken away from our own skill, our own learning, happiness in our own lives. We are losing when we stay angry. But when we direct that energy to do something, we can actually change the thing that we're angry about. Then we need to decide, actually, can I make change in this? And then use that to let it go. Now, this is something that I do all of the time. There are a lot of things in the world that make me angry. Even looking back to the situation of Amber Chech, that tradeswoman that was murdered in the US last November, I was really angry. I was really sad. And I felt like there should be more that I could do. But with my current energy, skills, my location, really the only thing I can do is to keep going in this coaching work. And I know I don't talk very much about that extreme side of things that happens, but often that extreme situation happens because of a lot of little steps. If I can encourage someone to have the confidence to speak up for themselves when an issue starts, then hopefully I am preventing stuff like that. And that's the way that I directed that energy. I cannot solve the world's problems for everyone. I cannot. And it makes me angry, it makes me mad, but sometimes we just need to put our energy in the direction that we can actually create some change in there. Now, like I said, I apologize for the messy episode. I have this conversation a lot. I've been having it for years, and I really just don't know what to do about it besides telling people to manage their own energy, to either use that energy, that anger, to create a solution, or to allow them to move on to enjoy their own lives and focus on their own growth. They're the only two kind of ways that I've moved through it myself as well, because there's always going to be someone else. There's always going to be someone sexualizing something, because that's just the way that the world is working at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for listening to my ramble about this. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it helped you make some decisions. I hope it helped you either let go or start to tick over what a plan could be to solve the thing that is making you angry. And if you do want any help or support with this, I swear I'm better at supporting people when they are in front of me and have specifics to their situation. I really didn't want to identify anyone in particular by naming particular circumstances really with this episode. And I'm saying I'm a lot because I do not have the clear direction with this episode. But anyway, if you do need help or support, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to have the messy conversation with you to get through the weeds to work out what is really going on, so then you can create a direct plan to either chill out, solve it, or chill out and solve it, because you can do those together as well. Usually problems solving when you're chilled out is a bit better. Anyway, so this episode was proudly supported by Zadie. So Zadie is a women's workwear brand. They make pants for your hips, thighs, and butt. They are made by tradeswomen for tradeswomen. So if you're looking for a new pair of work pants or work shorts, I would recommend to check them out. I love them. Yeah, and I only generally partner with people whose products I absolutely love on this podcast. So yes, I do love them, truly. Yeah. Sorry for this mumbling podcast, but anyway, if you don't believe in yourself right now, please borrow my belief in you. I know you can do anything that you put your mind to. You might need to have a nap and a snack first, but I know you can do it. And I will talk to you guys next week.